well, I was a little dude growing up, and when you're out there and you're trying to impress the ladies and shit, uh, you try to act tough, and you demand respect, especially as a little individual. Everyone was kind of maturing before me, so I really had to step it up a notch. You know what I mean? And I really cranked it up. I really cranked it up, and I started getting arrested as a juvie,
What
and
was
that
your
was
first
pretty.
arrest?
My first arrest,
Yeah.
it was breaking into a house. My first arrest. Yeah. Well, actually, no, that wasn't my first arrest. My first arrest, but I didn't really see too much from it because I was so young. Uh, was from a video store, man. You know how I don't know if over there on the West Coast back in the day, they used to have like blockbusters or places you can rent videos, VHSs and stuff.
Yep.
And they had an adult section. They used to have the tapes behind the box.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when I first got caught up with the law, man. Still trying to steal a little porno.
No, that's funny because I'm from right outside Boston actually originally,
Yeah,
and that was one of my early criminal mastermind memories. Is that we figured out that you could just go into the video store, like it wasn't a Blockbuster, it was like it was called Video Mat actually, and I remember we would go in there and for like a week, we would go in there almost every day and just snatch one of the tapes. Like we were stealing regular movies. I don't think we had the balls to go in the porno section because we were like 13, and
yeah,
I remember they installed like metal detector things like that would detect the sensor on the videos, and they
yeah,
installed that because of us. And it only took them like a week after we started stealing. And I remember being kind of amazed, like, whoa, like if we start doing shit, then people are going to actually react and like up their security. And it felt like very strange to see them add that security measure just because of us at a young age.
yeah. It is what it is. That's how it went off for me. The little metal strip went off on the little alarm things. They tackled me on my bike, and now that was pretty much it, man. It's just a lot of people that I started hanging around with had a big play with it too. Just everyone was getting into shit, man, and I just ended up taking it to a whole nother level as I got older and older. I started breaking into cars. Believe it or not, that was one of my I would like to say a profession because I was so damn good at it. Breaking into cars. It's sad to say, man, but that's how it all started as a young guy, man. Breaking into cars, stealing anything and everything I get my damn hands on, and because I didn't feel like working at 15 and stuff like
Yep.
that, trying to find a job or whatever the case was. My family didn't have no damn money, so I went out there and took stuff, and then it escalated to getting a gun and pulling off strong arm robberies every freaking night to meet a quota to get some cash for the next party night.
Holy shit. So what age did you get your first gun?
What year
What
was
age?
that? What age?
Yeah.
I was, man, honestly, I started playing with them I would say I started playing with them when I was about 15 or 16, but I didn't really use them as strong arm robbery. So I was probably about 17, 16, somewhere around there. I don't know. I didn't really keep date to it.
Did that was that like a really in like a liberating moment for you when you realized that you could just
Oh,
take
man.
somebody's shit?
It felt like fucking Superman, man. Because I was so little, man. And, I'll never forget it, man. The first time I did it, it was to a older individual, and he was a pretty big dude. And man, it looked like he had the fear of God in his heart. And I actually did a video, man, talking about something along the lines because I saw what happened to you recently, man. That had been kind of a
Right.
frightening moment.
That was a weird one, yeah. Now that was a crazy moment too because it's like as soon as by the time I saw that the guy had the gun pointed at me, my guy had his gun pointed at the guy as well. So I'm like, I'm almost like before I even started to think about me getting shot, I was thinking about like, holy shit, is this dude about to die right in front of me? And then
Yeah,
luckily my guy felt that it wasn't like he grabbed the guy right away, and so like the gun was only pointing at me for a split second. But I mean that was a weird situation where I've had a lot of people hit me up and basically be like, why didn't like you guys should have popped that dude, like you could have popped him, you could have got away with it. But then I feel for my dude that it's like he never killed anybody, and it's like he's really knowledgeable about guns, he knows all about guns, but at the same time like if does he really want to have that on his conscience regardless of if he felt justified doing it?
yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. If I seen someone pull a gun, if I was working for you, man, his ass would have been lit up. I
I
don't
feel
know,
like if it
man.
were
I
to
don't know.
happen
This
again,
dude's
then
been
that would
trained to go.
probably
No
happen like
disrespect to
more.
him. I'm sure, I don't know. He probably made the right decision, but me, knowing me, if I was getting paid to protect someone and someone pull out a gun, I'm gonna light him up. That's all there is to it. But either way is the right way. Everything ended up good. So
I think I'm just gonna light them up myself next time. I'm gonna be rolling a little bit heavier next time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when did you first get locked up and actually end up doing like a legit amount of time?
uh, man, honestly, man, to tell you the God's honest truth, I'm horrible with dates, names, numbers.
No
But I would say
specifics.
about six.
We don't need
Yeah, I would say
specifics.
about 16 in high school is when I first went to juvie for grand larceny and breaking into a house, and then 17, and just right after I graduated high school, that's when I committed my big felony that sent me to prison.
Oh, so what was that?
I was convicted, or I was charged with. I ended up getting into a fight. I was at my house. Long story short, a group of guys pulled up to my house. I could tell they were trying to start some stuff, and I wasn't trying to get jumped or nothing. And I had a knife, and I stabbed one guy. He approached me, swung at me, and I kind of just ducked it, bear hugged him, and stabbed him in the back a couple times. And long story short, they went to the hospital. They went to the hospital. When you go to the hospital with a wound like that, the cops
Hmm.
were involved. The doctors asked what the hell happened. A few hours later, after I done tried getting rid of the weapon and stuff, I tell the story on my channel. But the cops came to my house. They arrested me. It turns out they said that I not only stabbed them, but they said that I followed them, put a gun to their head, and made him and his girl, or whatever girl was driving, got him out the car, put him in the car, and took him somewhere else. So I had abduction, which is like kidnapping. I had felony assault with a weapon, which was dropped to unlawful wounding as the court process went through. A lot of people ain't heard of that charge. Maybe it's just a Virginia thing, but uh, unlawful wounding is a major difference between felony assault with weapon. It carries a maximum of 5. So the guy, pretty much I was able to defend myself, but the stuff that I did, I guess, was too much force, and someone kind of had to pay for it.
Wow,
He
really?
said,
So when I hear that though, it sounds like pretty like textbook self defense. But you're saying that you
yeah,
you couldn't get away from the lies that they were putting on you.
no, no, they said they brought that up in court, saying, I could have ran, called the cops, and then some of the stuff that I did afterwards might have been a little too much. But at the same time, when you're going through a situation like that, and someone's
Hell yeah.
charging at you, and my house was on a main road too, man. It wasn't really, I couldn't really run out there. I'd get hit by a car. I could have ran in the backyard or something, but I'm not thinking like that. I'm thinking it's my house. I could kill them if I want to if they're trying to attack me. And a
Exactly.
lot
That's
of
the American way.
yeah, a lot of states have that law, stand your ground law. I think it's Florida, and a few other states. But yeah, and I always tell people that, man, you gotta be aware of your laws and stuff, because what I thought was right landed me in prison.
So how long did you get locked up for that time around?
The first time was about 4 years, a little, give or take a month or two. Uh, got out, violated, went back in for 6 months. Got out, violated, went back in for 6 months. Got out and went and did another 3 years. Uh,
Wow, man. So they gave you 4 years. Like that's such a way to destroy somebody's life or any potential that they have of having a good, productive life. If you take a 17-year-old and throw him in jail for 4 years for something that is like really at the end of the day self-defense.
yeah, I had a, before the whole thing happened, I still had pending charges too, man.
Mm.
I had a bunch of other little petty stuff, and I was already, had the juvie record, so it was all kind of just. I had so many charges at once, man. It was just overwhelming. Honestly, I thought I was gonna spend the rest of my life in prison, because the abduction charge, malicious wounding, kidnapping, whatever, that carried, over 50 years. So I went in there expecting not to be leaving no damn time soon, man. So I'm actually very blessed that if I didn't beat that charge, I wouldn't even know what YouTube is. You know what I mean? I'd still be in there eating fucking ramen noodles.
Oh man,
But
see, yeah, I hear a story like that and it trips me out so bad because when I look back at, wait, how old are you?
32.
32. Okay, so you're a little bit younger than me, but when I look at my life growing up, I mean, I got into all the bad stuff when I was in high school and stuff, but then I just didn't like graduate up the ladder in the same way that you did. Like I never got a gun when I was, 16. But I did start doing credit card fraud, which I was lucky enough to never get caught doing, even though I did that for a few years.
Yeah.
And like it just when I look at like the process that you were going through, because to a lot of people that sounds crazy. Like why would you, as a young guy, why would you just grow up and decide that you want to start committing crimes instead of going and getting a job? I mean, people all the time who are motivated to like get a good job when they're young. I'm like, man, a job didn't even cross my mind as a young man. Like it never, I didn't even have that filter of being able to think of life as like a positive process where I would like, be able to find this legal way to get money. It's like as a young dude, like crime just always seemed like what my mind gravitated towards.